All right, so today I'm gonna actually try to get the chickens moved over near the other coop. That way they can have, a couple days to acclimate to one another. The challenge with that has always been getting the chickshaw here into the backyard, because that's probably the best way to get them close to the current run without them being too far from the house, since I don't have a lot of good cover yet in terms of predator stuff. I need about roughly 76 inches to get that chickshaw through any opening, and that double gate there is technically wide enough, but it's all like chained shut and fencing over it and everything else, and be a big hassle trying to take all that down. Plus it will barely fit through. The single gate, I have two single gates on the left that are definitely not wide enough for it to get through. And so what I'm gonna actually do is I take some of this fencing down here on the corner where this woven wire fence meets my chain link. I'm gonna actually take that down, and I have about 77 inches between this galvanized post and that T-post there. So I'm gonna actually take loose this woven wire fencing from here and see if I can't get it in the backyard this evening. Fence them in this area for a couple days, and then maybe next week or later in the weekend I might be able to integrate them. But challenge is I'm gone all day tomorrow, so it's either to do this today or I wait. And it's supposed to get down into the 30s and 40s for the next week or so, and I want to make sure I get ahead of that. All right, this actually might not be too bad. I got the fence opened up here. That was easier than I thought it would be. All right, well, that's gonna be a pretty tight squeeze, and I'm not sure how effective I would be at moving these guys in the middle of the day, because they're not in the coop and I don't have fencing up over here, so I'm a little bit worried about trying to move them. I don't have another net to put up to kind of lead them to either, so yeah, I don't want them ending up out in this field. I think they'd probably have a bit of a heyday in that soybean field. I might never find them again. So I'm gonna get back out here, maybe do it this evening, but we'll see. All right, so I had a bit of a semi-family emergency, and I had to take off earlier and didn't get it done what I was hoping to get done, but that's okay. So the rest of this is probably gonna be done in the dark, so forgive me on the poor quality. But what I'm gonna actually do is get the rest of make sure the chickens are locked up, and then I'm gonna get the chickshaw moved down closer to the big chickens, and then I gotta get this net set up tonight. So all right, it'll be a late evening, doing a lot of stuff in the dark. All right, well, looks like everybody's up for the night, at least, including the little one all out by itself. All right, girls, we're gonna go for a ride. I think I'm just gonna start with laying this fence down, and then once the fence is laying down, I can just run over the top of it with the chickshaw. That way, if I have to come back in for some reason, I can't get this done tonight, I don't have to set the whole net back up. And I ran over one of my fence posts. Hopefully I didn't break it. Yeah, my wheel's hitting. All right, well, I guess I need to figure out what next, because I'm not getting in past the wheels. I thought I accounted for enough space, but I don't think I did. All right, so I don't think you'll be able to see it, but the next two fence posts, the gap between them is a lot wider. And I realized that the fence was never fastened to this fence post here, the one I was trying to get past. So I'm actually just gonna go over the next side and go underneath there. Eventually I'll put a gate in this chain link, I think, but one project at a time. All right, we are in. We made it. All right, I got them in here, and I'll go get my net and fix the fence. So I got probably 45 minutes ahead of me because I gotta do all my chores as well. Twinkle, you keeping me company? The next time I order a net, I think I'm gonna get shorter nets. This one's 144 feet, and it's been all right since I wasn't moving these guys, but moving a 144 foot net has been up to this point cumbersome because the net's been here since I bought it. I haven't used it anywhere else. So it's great for this kind of semi-permanent area, but I don't intend on doing this like that in the future. Yeah, 144 foot of net is heavy. I decided to start my net down there so I could set my fence charger up on that T-post. Then I don't have to drive screws. Save me a little bit of time this evening. Unfortunately, I didn't get my hot wire run soon enough, or I could have just tapped the hot wire from my larger run, but that's all right. Wow, I made that almost perfect. Now let's just see how hard it's gonna be to actually get this stuff in the ground. So there's a chance tonight, according to the news, that we get flurries. Now, I'm really hoping that that does not happen, but not the end of the world, I guess, if it does. What's up, Twinkle? Oh, you pouncing my leg, keeping me on my toes. These are actually going in really nice. Probably because we got so much rain today. You know, it's not completely terrible that I had to do this at dark because the chickens were already up, so I didn't really have to worry about trying to chase them, get them herded up or anything. So that turned out pretty good. And something I haven't done is spend a lot of time outside in the evenings, like after dark here. And so one thing I've already noticed is coyotes yipping in probably a couple 100 acres away, but I hear them, or at least I did. They've been quiet for the last few minutes, but quite a few dogs have sounded the alarm. There's one benefit of being surrounded by other farms is I've got sort of a barrier around me of other people that whose animals are helping keep predators at bay. Now hopefully that doesn't just, you know, send them my way, but I'm kind of wedged in between them, so hopefully that keeps them pressed to the outskirts. All right, so I got everything together, and I couldn't have done that on purpose if I tried, but I got it spaced out almost exactly how it needs to be. So all I got left to do is go get my solar charger and get it hooked up, which means I need to drive a grounding rod, but I may try to ground it to one of these T-posts see if I can get enough juice. Just again, this only needs to be a week tops. If things go well, I may attempt to introduce them a little bit next week or even this weekend, but I've got to see how they do. One thing I have absolutely learned to do is to be efficient in your trips. So I've got to get a Phillips tip screwdriver in order to get that thing, the solar charger, off the wall or off the post that it's on. And so if I'm gonna have to walk over here and get a screwdriver, might as well carry the food and water back. Make one trip out of it. This is why I didn't cut the wire shorter. That way if I needed to move it, it wouldn't be that big a deal. All right, so I couldn't get the clamp here around one of the T-posts. It's not big enough. And so what I did is just scratch some paint off the edge of that T-post there and use a pair of ice grips to pin it to it until I get a chance to go over there and dig up that grounding rod. Or what I might do is leave that there and just finish running my hot wire. But either way, I'll get to one of those soon, very soon, because I don't want to leave this out here, ruin a good pair of ice grips. I'm gonna go grab my charger, or I'm sorry, my tester soon, and give it a test and see how it does. But in the meantime, I've got to, while I'm out here, go ahead and get the food and water from these chickens. Well, I'm down to just 2 eggs for the day. So the dark days are starting to definitely kick in here. You know, I'm just gonna be honest. I really, really, really hate daylight savings time. So I'm out here thinking, yeah, it feels so late. It's getting dark. I'm super late for dinner. And then I realized that it's only 6:30. But it is what it is. That's all I got to complain about. I'm doing all right. All right, so it's plugged up and it's working. And it's inconsistently getting between 2,000 and 5,000 volts. So I'm gonna go grab a couple of the stakes and pick up a few spots just to kind of help it out. And I know part of it's just because I don't have a great ground here, but I'll figure it out. All right, I got everything put together finally. I'm done with the poultry netting. I'm getting consistently about 3,000 to 4,000 volts, which is plenty for now. And as it burns off some of this grass in the next day or two, it'll most likely pick up. So I'm actually pretty pleased with that. I'm gonna actually get this fence closed back up just because this borders the soybean field and the odds for predators to come through here is pretty high because I've seen it. So I'm gonna get this fence closed back up just to help deter them. See how much harder it is this time because it's bent up a little shorter. Part of the problem is I bent it right through here around this post earlier, trying to get the chickshaw through. I eventually need to redo this anyways. This is not a reliable fence setup. I think it was probably makeshift when it was done, and I certainly consider it makeshift now. Kind of wish I had a pair of needle nose down here now. All right, that'll work. It's not too bad. Yeah, this will do all right for now, I think. It wouldn't stop a determined predator, but frankly, most fences won't stop a determined predator. It's kind of like a lock. A lock's just going to keep an honest man honest, but a thief's going to try to get around it anyways. All right, well, all I got left to do for the evening is finish picking up all my extra fence posts that I had over here. So if you stuck with me this long, I appreciate it. Sorry if you get wind noise in this last pit here. The wind's picking up. But no, I appreciate you sticking around. This isn't exactly the video I was planning to make, but I just couldn't delay getting those guys moved any longer. So it is what it is. But when I get a chance, I'll give kind of maybe a recap and show what I've done. And now my future gardening site's opened up. It's time to get a hold of the plow. So we still got a lot to go. A lot to do still before winter sets in. So staying busy. Ain't that right, Twinkle? Anyways, again, thanks for joining and have a good rest of your evening.